Hello, and welcome to the Parthenon podcast. As always, I'm your host, Joe.
And I'm Meg.
And today we are doing another remote session. This time, you'll be able to see our pretty faces, of course. And we're just sitting here talking about some more coronavirus stories because that seems to be what's on everybody's mind right now.
It is definitely the forefront of all media with everyone.
I mean, everyone has been staying at home for the past 3 or 4 weeks, and we've just gotten tired of sitting around. I know I have, and I'm just stewing to do something else.
What's something that you miss the most that you probably didn't even realize you were taking it for granted?
Oh, okay. So something that I probably more like, I would say hang out with friends, but I feel like everyone says that. So let me think of something more taken for granted. Going out to eat.
Yep. My like very specific one is similar to that. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, God, I miss going to the movies. I miss going to the movies and like getting dinner.
Yeah.
I love going to the theater. Like I'll go with anybody who ever enjoys movies to see anything. I like all kinds of movies too. So it's an experience.
Yeah.
And movie theater popcorn.
Oh yeah. They always make it so good. Just that hot buttery butter on it.
Butter. You can't recreate that taste at home.
You can't. It's something completely specific to the location, I suppose.
That's what I miss. Thanks, Corona.
Thanks, Rona. Like I was thinking yesterday, I was like, man, I really could go for some Waffle House right now.
Thanks, Corona.
Thanks, Corona. Can't go to it.
Nope.
Nope.
Are they doing like takeout or anything like that?
Waffle House specifically?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I didn't check. I think part of the Waffle House experience is being able to sit in it, though.
You're
Like,
right.
I feel like the food wouldn't be as magical if you didn't get to sit in that nice booth with all your friends and the angry waitress who's been up since the night before.
You're right.
It's part of it.
I know how much you love my Vine references. Have you ever seen the Vine of the guy screaming, "Can I please get a waffle?" while like two waitresses are fighting with one another?
Oh yeah, I have seen that one actually.
Yeah.
That one's good. It's like, can I get a waffle, please?
Yeah. Can I please get a waffle?
That's only something that could happen at Waffle House is two waitresses fighting.
The energy in there is so unique. It's like everything's all good and chill because you're having a waffle with your pals.
Yeah.
But it's also like very, there's like a lot of animosity in the air. And for what and to whom, we don't know. But it's there.
The waffle gods.
Have you ever been to a Huddle House?
No, I've heard good things though. I know it's like similar. Do they have pancakes instead of waffles?
It's a more southern version, I think, of it. I think relatively the menu is fairly the same, but I think that there are better drinks at Waffle House. Or not Waffle House, sorry, Huddle House.
Better drinks? In what
Yeah,
way?
like they have this like orange lemonade drink and like all different kinds of sweet teas. So
That sounds pretty good. Do they have a large selection of grits?
I don't know. I don't remember. I was only there one time, and I specifically remember the drinks being like very different. Coffee is pretty much the same.
Yeah. I remember like Cracker Barrel having this like blue lemonade or something like that, and I remember that was my favorite drink of all time. So same situation, I suppose. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Cracker Barrel in a while either, so
I love a Cracker Barrel. God, now I'm missing Cracker Barrel.
I don't miss the food per se, but it has a certain smell to it. I don't know how to define it.
When I was in Georgia with the Army last summer and spring, every Saturday, my friends and I, we got one day off of the week. One day off, and it was like a few hours, and that's it. And we would always spend it at Cracker Barrel. We loved Cracker Barrel.
It's a great place to go. So we could probably get into the first story if you want to. One of the Marshall's employees is hospitalized with COVID-19.
Mhm. Which
So,
is in comparison to like WVU, who published an article earlier this week saying that, like, quote, dozens and dozens, end quote, of students have it in Morgantown.
oh my gosh. I
I don't
think,
know if you saw that, but in comparison, I guess that's not terrible.
yeah, I saw that article last night and I was like, oh my gosh. And I guess it makes a little more sense that Morgantown might be a little bit closer to the border. Um,
It's closer
well,
to
not,
DC.
yeah, closer to DC, like more higher populous cities, I suppose. I mean, we're really close to the border here in Ohio and Kentucky, but DC is pretty bad right now.
Right.
Um,
Morgantown boards are close to the bigger cities like Pittsburgh and DC,
yeah,
whereas we're like close to Louisa, Kentucky, and Ashland.
which you probably had a lot of students who were from those cities too.
Yeah.
And so that might have been one of the contributing factors. I don't know.
I
That's
don't
really
know if
interesting.
staff have it there. I haven't seen a report saying that WVU staff has it, but I haven't seen anything that says a Marshall student has it for certain either. But
Yeah.
who's to say?
Well, what's good about this story is it seems like the specific employee has been working at home since March 26th. And of course, like the employee's close contacts at the university prior to the date have been identified and instructed to follow the appropriate protocols. But it kind of seems like where that's already been a couple. That's been like quite a bit ago, like 2 weeks or so. So hopefully the exposure period hasn't been that long that he was actually in contact with students. And it doesn't seem like he was really in contact with students a whole lot during what he would be the incubation period.
I do know, according to one of my professors, like we were having not a Zoom meeting, but like the Blackboard Collaborate meeting yesterday. One of my professors informed us that no staff at all is allowed on campus unless you have like permission from someone else. I don't know, someone important, I'm assuming, but nobody is supposed to be on campus right now.
Jeez, ghost town.
Yeah.
It's wild. You look around Huntington and just some of the places you frequent, and it's just dead.
Yeah. I haven't been anywhere except for Chipotle where I work
Yeah.
and Kroger or Walmart and home. That's it. I
I,
haven't done anything else, and I'm tired of that.
that's me too. That I haven't. I've only been to like Aldi, my house.
Yeah.
um, I've been hanging out. I hung out with like one of my friends who's going back to England today for like a couple times. He was like part of my Corona semicircle. So, the dorms like one. So like that's 3 locations that I've been at in the entirety of 3 weeks, basically.
Right.
And it's getting tiresome. And like it's also surprising how populous some of the areas are during this time too, because a lot of people aren't taking these protocols seriously.
Mm-hmm. I have seen people have like day parties on their front lawns, and because the weather's been nice. So
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way that 20 of you live in the same house.
You're a big family.
I know people in my neighborhood have been hanging out on their porches, and people that walk by, they invite them in, and they're like, that's literally the exact opposite of what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. It's yeah, I don't think they're taking it seriously, but I think it's this mentality that it won't happen to them. Like even if they break some minor rules, they're like, oh, it won't happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
But if
you never know.
You never know.
Hopefully it doesn't, but I'm trying to take precautions so it doesn't happen to me.
Yeah.
At the same time, if it does, my immune system will see what she can do.
See what happens. It's one of those things like I almost wish I get it just to get it over with. Not because I actually want it, but
Uh, then you just wouldn't have to worry afterward.
yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
I would mostly have immunity to it afterward. I know some people have been reported of getting it, being infected twice,
Oh,
but
really?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, not good stuff.
No.
Did you hear the story about the financial compensation?
Yes, I did. I did see that. And it does not help me at all.
Yeah, it doesn't seem helpful just at the specifics at which it's pinpointing to compensate. Like there's a specific prorated amount of 37.5% of costs of individual items for the spring semester.
Yeah.
37.5 was for 6 of the 16-week semester impacted by the pandemic. And this includes meal flex plans, parking permits, housing contracts, and rec student fees. But it doesn't cover a lot of different things that people have already dropped money to contribute to. Specifically, I didn't see anything about commencement, which one is pretty much canceled at this point or postponed. So we're not getting any money back from commencement, which I would have liked to get the full amount back, even though,
Included in our tuition
yeah,
is the fee that it would be to go into all sporting events, and there are no sporting events. So I feel like, in my opinion, I think we should get that money back.
yeah,
Um, I don't know how the rec one will affect me. I do use the rec, but don't I already pay for that again, included in all my fees? Does everyone get that like rec reimbursement, or how does that work?
um,
A lot of the things that have been put out have been very like vague. I have a
yeah.
lot of questions about like the grading scale, when the grading scale changed. So, and this is another one. I don't really know.
It seems as though the rec one is, yeah, like I said, like you said, it's very vague because it might be just for specific rec fees on top of the, because of course, if you're a full-time student, you get in the rec for free anyway.
Right.
So it might have been for rec classes that they weren't able to finish, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Rec fees is a very vague term. What
yeah,
does fees include? Does it include all students that already have that included in their tuition and are going for free every day as is for all full-time students? Or is it for all students part-time? Like, we don't know.
yeah. I think it's vague enough to,
Satisfy the need that people
yeah,
are asking.
to satisfy just the essence of what they're looking for. It's like,
Right.
hey, we got you right here. We got this compensation plan, and it's
Mhm.
not necessarily filled out like we'd want it to be. But
I kind of feel like that's what happened with the grading scale too, is there was the petition that went around that said we want pass or fail classes, and
mm,
we just want, from my understanding, the way that I took the petition that was sent around was that the petition was asking for whatever grades you had when like March 13th, when all this stuff went down, that's your grade for the rest of the semester, and we shouldn't worry about it. Our priority should be taking care of ourselves and staying healthy, and et cetera, et cetera.
yeah,
But what was sent out, I think, in my opinion, this is total speculation, in my opinion, was that Marshall got really pressured by that petition gaining so much momentum so quickly that they sent this out and they said, yeah, we'll do credit, no credit. It was just enough to satisfy and get the people who were really building steam with the petition to be quiet about it and be like, here, yeah, we gave you your option, credit or no credit. It never gave the option of taking the grade as of March 13th when all this went down and
yeah,
moving and not worrying about it. Whereas big name schools like Duke and Harvard, places like that, were like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like, that's what I thought the petition was asking for. I might be misunderstanding it, but that was my point of view with it all.
Yeah, it's really odd to think about that we don't know for sure where this is going. And like, think about those classes that, I mean, of course, we know that all of these classes are being transferred into online, but like, what about this kind of filters into this idea of the rec fees. What happens to all those like online, what happens to all those rec classes that you have the second part of the semester that you paid for? And then are those transferred to an online class themselves in
I don't
terms?
know. I mean, some majors you do have to have a rec class that like counts for some credit. I know one of the reporters for the Parthenon was telling me about that, how he was required to have like one of these, basically a gym class for
Yeah.
his major because it fulfilled some type of requirement. And what does he do now? He can't even go to the rec.
Can't even do his underwater basket weaving
You
class.
put a Zoom video of y'all playing volleyball by yourself, like
Yeah, yeah. Set up your Zoom video on your basketball court outside. Show me
of
you.
course by yourself.
Yeah, shooting some hoops. You can prove you have your basketball skills.
Right.
That's how you do it now. I don't know. It's a little bit messed up, and I understand people wanting just this credit immediately because a lot of it right now is just a lot of people don't learn very well online, and that's why they've purposely chosen not to take online classes the entirety of their schooling at Marshall. And so now they're kind of forced into this maybe the spot they're not comfortable in, where one, they don't have the means to learn at home as well, and then two, it's just like whether they just can't keep their attention on it. I don't know.
I'm wholeheartedly one of those people. I'm somebody that even in big classes, I don't learn that well. I need to feel like I matter in that class. I need to feel like someone's directing any answers to questions that I may have to me. It's really hard oftentimes. Not every professor is great with technology. And so it's difficult for them to answer any questions that you might have through email. Sometimes it's hard to articulate yourself through email. There are so many factors that are stifling the way that students learn effectively and efficiently that I really think that it should have just been whatever your grade was is what you get.
Yeah,
And maybe that's not fair of me to say because at that time, like my grades were good enough to where I would be satisfied with that, but other people maybe not.
yeah. So like other people may not have been to the level that they wanted in the semester at the
I
time.
recognize that, but
Yeah,
that's just what would have helped me personally.
yeah,
Because now, um, I can't go to the Parthenon and log my hours and get paid for them. I can't, produce stories the way that I usually do because I really like humanistic, like feature stories. I go out, I meet someone, I see what they do, I take video and picture of what they do, put it all together. I can't even see people, so I'm not performing and producing stories the way that I want to, or really at all efficiently. And in order to even pay my rent, I'm having to work 35, 40 hours a week at Chipotle.
yeah,
And it's like, it's kind of like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, because if you're not working, then you feel like you're not providing and you're not helping yourself or helping your family. You're not making ends meet. And there's nothing you can do about it. You feel really helpless because you can't expose yourself. You're not an essential worker or whatever. That's
yeah,
a lot of people. And then there are people on the other hand, like myself, who are considered an essential worker. And I'm a lot of journalists too. And I'm going out to here and there and wherever. I'm specifically going to my job at Chipotle and serving food to thousands of people every day. Like in one shift, we make like $5,000,
oh
and
my
it's
gosh,
all online or people walking in and taking it. The only difference with Chipotle now is that you just can't eat in the dining room.
yeah,
Uh, but think about the exposure that I have come in contact with because I work the line. So I'm that person making your bowl, your burrito, tacos, whatever, and you're supposed to be 6 feet away, but you're right there in my face. And the only thing separating us is a glass.
yeah,
And a lot of people are really frustrating me laying on top of that glass and like so close I can smell them.
yeah.
So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because if you're not working, then you feel like you're not being successful and you're not making ends meet. And then if you are working, you're making ends meet, but at what cost?
Yeah, exposing yourself.
Right.
I I think it was interesting. My roommate Josh, he's working at Home Depot, and they're still open as an essential business because if your hot water heater bursts, you need to have the means to fix that because that's something needs to be fixed immediately, and stuff like that. But people are not taking it seriously at all. They're coming in and buying mulch and like flower flower seeds and like everything like that. It's like, why are you doing this? Why are you deciding to build a deck right now? And like the reason you guys are coming in for these resources is not essential at all.
Yeah.
And like he's saying, like all of the employees are getting very snappy with all of the customers that are coming in, just because one, they're not taking it seriously, and they have these precautions set up that they're opening the store just for these specific needs to be met. That people are just abusing it and coming in, and they are meeting their sales goals faster than like ever now. Like they said, they're more busy than ever.
Honestly, Chipotle has been too, but the difference is Chipotle is food. Everybody has to eat every day.
Yeah.
So I understand why my work is very essential, why people are coming in, why we're making so much money. But like, no, you don't really need to build a deck right now.
Yeah.
Unless there's absolutely no way to get into your house, unless you have a deck and the whole deck just blew away in the wind.
Yeah, it's like someone snuck into my backyard and they had corona and sneezed on it and it melted my deck, and now I can't get to the back end of my house. So
yeah, exactly. Actually, were you here for the storm the other day that happened like 2 days ago?
Was it the one early in the morning with the hail, or was it the one later at night?
Later at night. The one at night, I think, was a little worse.
Oh yeah, the downpour was awful. We were actually driving in the rain at the time, and it was not good.
I saw lightning. I was actually playing video games, and above my TV, there's this window. And I was like, I started seeing lightning through the window, and I was like, oh my God. But I know that it actually tore up a business in Hurricane. Apparently it hit Hurricane, ironically. Hurricane, a little harder than other areas around here. I know, like, the Moses Auto Sale was trashed.
I heard about that. I think Charles showed me he said he was showing me a car dealership. It might have been that Moses Auto Sale, like the same one that got trashed. My sister's house got struck a little bit from the storm the other night. Speaking of destruction from the storm, part of their roof kind of collapsed a little bit, and so they're going to have to
go to Home Depot.
Go to Home Depot.
They're going to have to go to Home Depot now.
Yeah, they're going to have to go to Home Depot now, get it fixed up. They're going to love seeing people come and try to get their I mean, it's understandable. They're not being snappy with the people that actually need to fix something around the house that's essential, like your roof.
Right.
But people coming in buying like paper towels and like mulch and stuff. Nah. And they're also getting angry because they only opened one entrance in the store. So people are like, why aren't there any signs? And Josh is like, sir, there's a sign here, a sign here. Like he points out all the signs. And it's like, maybe you should learn to read. Like,
I've went to Walmart for groceries probably like 4 days ago, and they were like counting the number of people that are going in. And I'm not really sure. Maybe they're soon to limit the number of people going in. I'm not really sure what's happening with that. I haven't seen like a report or any type of article, but I did read an article. It was published by BuzzFeed, so give or take the legitimacy of it. Sometimes BuzzFeed's really good, sometimes it's not. But it was talking about, they interviewed 12 employees of Walmart throughout the nation and talked about their experiences with COVID-19 and everything going on. And they were not good.
Yeah.
Their testimonies were not good. They were like, people are telling everyone, like the corporate is telling everyone that they're closing early, as it is. Walmart is closing at like 8 o'clock now.
Yeah.
And supposedly it's for like cleaning, to clean the store, make sure everything's sanitized, etc. But according to this Walmart worker, one of them said it's so that they can restock everything and then just get right on with their shift. So they stock everything all throughout the night and then, get wiped out throughout the day. But they also have not been given hand sanitizer. They're not a lot of places. It said, I know this isn't true with the Route 61 because I went the other day.
Yeah.
But a lot of places don't have the means to like sanitize the carts. But when I went to Route 60 the other day, before they handed me a cart, I like watched them spray it down. They're not letting anyone just take carts from one another. They're like intercepting them, spraying them down, and then giving them to other people. So
Yeah.
they have like, that's a person's specific job.
Yeah. There are a few like state, like speaking of like restricted hours and stuff along that way, there are a few like state initiatives in terms of preventing the spread of the virus that I agree with and some that I don't. One of the ones I do agree with, that specifically in Washington, D.C., in like maybe some cities surrounding that, they require you to wear a face mask like out in public if you're going to the supermarket, and it has to be a cotton face mask. So I support that. Yeah, like in terms of like preventing the spread of disease and just having it more controlled, wearing a face mask in public required, that's cool with me. There are ones that I don't agree with. I think a curfew, like some cities actually have like an 8 p.m. curfew that actually hurts, and I think it contributes to the spread a little bit more, because when you have a curfew on when people can be out, they are going to be out at the same time more, and it's going to be squeezed into like a shorter amount of period of time. And so more people are just going to be congregated together before this curfew happens, specifically at supermarkets.
What is the thinking behind the curfew? Like, how does the curfew specifically aid in stopping the spread? Like,
I don't know. I know, like, specifically some cities in Louisiana are doing the curfew. It might be Baton Rouge. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to have to look it
like
up.
you said, the only thing I could think of is it would force everyone to be out at the same time if there's a curfew.
Exactly. And that's not good. if more people are like...
To making it worse.
Yeah, like think if you have this amount of exposures per an 8-hour period from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Think of that. Well, if you have this same amount of people in an area that are going to be out on any given day, it's going to be, okay, they're going to be out from 8 a.m. to 12 in the morning or something like that. Of course, that's really late, but some supermarkets are open that early. But you reduce that by 4 hours, and technically it just squeezes the amount of contact time that much. So
yes. I've also noticed that a lot of supermarkets, like grocery stores where people are mainly going, they are only allowing you to do like self-checkout. There's a lot of places that have none or very few actual cashiers ready to take you through their line and stuff. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of feel like there's no winning in that situation, because if you have a cashier, then you expose that cashier to tons and tons and tons of people and items that they've touched. They've picked up in their cart, then their cashier's scanning it. But then I also feel like people that go through the self-checkout, it's tons and tons and tons and tons more people, and they're touching the same thing. And I don't know, I think there's no winning in that situation.
Yeah.
And who knows if they have the supplies to sanitize it. So
yeah, it's hard to really like decide who should be exposed in that instant. I mean, of course, I don't want the workers to be exposed, because it's an essential part that we would need them to, of course, restock and have that kind of essence to it. And I support the self-checkout, but of course, like customers being more in control of what they touch, and those self-checkout booths themselves not being sanitized, yeah, that is a little bit scary.
I tried to make my own hand sanitizer because I don't have any and I can't find any anywhere. I mean, I have a little bit, but I mainly just like keep it in my car for when I go out. But
Isn't it
I
just
really just, it's like 90% alcohol, like rubbing alcohol,
yeah?
and a ton of aloe vera gel. And then I put some essential oils in it to make it smell nice.
Ooh, does it smell good?
Smells like grapefruit.
Nice.
Yeah.
I gotta make me some of that. But speaking of which, I gotta go to the store today too. So,
Good luck.
oof. Thank you. I think that's actually all the time we have for today. All right, guys. Have a good week, and see you
We
guys
care about
soon.
you.
We do care about you. Stay safe out there.
Bye.
Bye.